Okay.
Hey guys, I can see that Alex Mashensky would like to talk.
I don't think Alex is able to talk. I don't think that's fair. If he wants to talk, then he can, but his legal counsel would have told him that he can't, and it's not fair to judge that. But if you do want to, Alex, I doubt you do, but if you do, put your hand up and you're welcome. But it's not because he doesn't want to. I'm sure he's behind right now, and it's very painful for him because he wants to say things. And it's not because he doesn't want to, it's because his lawyers won't let him. So let's not judge that.
So should I bring him on? Because he's.
I don't think he can. He's given a heart emoji, which means that he can't.
All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's put Shauna. Next speaker.
I think Kaz was before me. I'll wait.
There's no particular order, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Simon. I'm going back to what Henry had said, and he had asked you about like what plan, and you were saying like why your depositors first, and I honestly don't really care who runs the business. I do care if we can get out of this bankruptcy the soonest. So logistically speaking, I would assume, and I'm no lawyer, and Crypto YOLO could probably come up, but from what I've gathered, Celsius has the first right of refusal, and they have the 120 days exclusivity or whatever, exclusivity, and then they could actually have an extension. So hypothetically, if we're just looking at numbers here, wouldn't it be best for us all to get behind Celsius and get this approved and out of bankruptcy as fast as we can? And YOLO has told me the best way to do that is probably through Celsius's plan. Otherwise, this can be dragged out and we can go into chapter 7, which explain to me why, if you could put your ego aside and you say you care about depositors, not about all these other things, would you not get on board to approve Celsius' plan?
Yeah, if there's a plan that genuinely gets traction, that can take Celsius out of Chapter 11, that is much better and more likely, and there is genuine reasons why that would happen, because a reorg to a new code, to new management is complicated, and is less complicated than existing management and existing structure, knowing some of the challenges, just like we know lots of the regulatory challenges from 10 years of securities laws and 5 years of lending challenges, and those can't be picked up. So if that is the solution, then that is the solution. It's depositors first all the way. I have a thesis or a theory that is grounded upon a strong set of experience that the regulators are going to be the biggest hurdle, and that will slow down things a lot. So I think for that reason, there has to be a management team that regulators would make a very, very strong statement if they allowed the existing management to continue this and reorg. And I think it's an insurmountable hurdle. And so therefore, that hurdle needs to be overcome. And then there's the securities laws part, there's the custody laws part, there's the lending laws part. And so I believe that an unrealistic plan will hinder the process because it will burn a lot of cash and lead to Chapter 7 liquidation. I'd rather be ready for, if needed, there's a solution that could put depositors first if what I think is going to happen.
I could be wrong, but I've heard YOLO, like this is a precedence in case, right? So you're always concerned with regulators and how this can be approved. But if it gets approved by Judge Glenn and the plan gets approved, then I think this sets a precedence and we don't need to be worried about it. Are you worried about regulations after we come out? Because
absolutely,
I think that's all going to be taken care of within 100%. Chapter.
Sorry, it's very confusing, I know. There is a precedent to be set, for example, that you could allow loads of equity holders pending the company going public and use the Chapter 11 process in order to issue shares to non-accredited investors. Don't confuse that with all of a sudden we can circumvent securities laws, set a precedent, those things aren't going to happen, in my opinion. If they do, if securities laws are defined in this case, it goes against everything that experience is telling me, everything that regulators are telling me, and everything that's ever happened. And so that's the thing.
Well, I heard YOLO just DM me and said that within Celsius's plan being approved, you can actually have management change within Celsius plan through it. So this is all possible. So like, I just don't want that to be, I just hope that
I'm completely open to those possibilities. Completely open. Again,
okay,
it is depositors first. 100% is depositors first.
With the salt lending, like acquisition, it almost seems like you want to have it already, but it almost is like you want us to go to chapter 7 so that you can take us over afterwards.
Nobody wants chapter 7.
Hell no.
Like, it's bad for everybody. Like, I would argue we're all already sucked into this and part of the community one way or another, and that's why I think we're always advocating, at least I am, I'll speak for myself. I'm advocating for everybody to come together to work against the real enemies here, which is the failure rate of what happens if this goes south, and how do we all kind of get beyond that and find the best possible solutions.
Yeah. Right, Sean, and we've talked about this.
Here's what chapter 7 means. Bad for the industry, bad for depositors. Then some predator comes along and buys up lots of the auctions for pennies on the dollars, and their equity holders benefit. Rather than everyone else getting equity through a reorg. It's the worst of everything.
But hasn't that been you that comes in at the auctions on pennies on the dollar and buys up these companies? That's my whole thing. That's what you have done. And so it kind of seems like...
When have I done that? I came here and said, let's do a reorg and make sure everybody becomes a shareholder so that the equity holders in the acquiring company don't benefit, the victims benefit. That's my, from day one, strategy and approach.
Right. And I just hope, I heard you yesterday, and I am too, like a Cinderella story to come out of this, have the company intact, keep its thing, and walking is like the best for everyone in this industry. So I really hope that that's what happens and you get behind that, and we don't have like an ego match and a vindictive thing, that we can put those aside and just want the best for the whole industry, not for individual people in it. And I just want to let you know, Alex does want to speak. So if you would be gracious to bring him up and to talk. I think you talked in a space where he was there. So I mean, this would be precedence if he's willing to talk. He said that he would like to talk. So I don't know.
If he's asking to come up, you should bring him up, Simon.
Okay. Yeah, we'll bring Alex up. So Alex is here.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Alex.
Yes,
great. Thank you for letting me speak. Since Simon was been on our channels a dozen times, first of all, Celsius bankruptcy is not like all other bankruptcies. There are no bondholders or other people in front of the community. The community is the creditor, the main creditor, which means the community owns most of the company, most of the mining company, most of the cell token. So if Simon's trying to make you go somewhere else, that diminishes, that makes you throw stones at your own house. We are here to fix Celsius. We're here to bring everybody together. We're here to extract as much value as possible for the creditors, for all the people who are owning part of Celsius. I'm a creditor, just like you. One of the largest creditors, just like you. Okay, so instead of fixing, let me finish. Instead of trying to fix Celsius, Simon is trying to take you to a different house. Say, hey, forget about this one. Doesn't matter if you own a piece of it. Come with me somewhere else because we're going to make it better over there. That's not going to make it better for you, for what you own in Celsius. For us to maximize the value of the company, we need to stick together and rebuild this company. That's all we need to do. Okay? And I'm shocked.
Okay, Alex, how would you suggest? How could I help in that process?
Who is he's betraying his own investors, the people he brought into the A round to come in with him. Instead of fixing the problem, help fix the problem, He's trying to buy it on the cheap. He's trying to take you somewhere else. Just like if there was anybody who didn't help their fellow man, it's Simon Dixon.
These are
Okay,
ad
so
hoc.
Alex, what would you like
Plain
me
C,
to do?
stop.
Let's have a constructive conversation without
Plain
ad hoc.
C.
I'm allowed to
Mute.
speak. All I'm saying is,
No.
let's have a constructive excuse me, I'm talking. All I'm
So Alex, what could we do to help better?
We have a process. It's called Chapter 11. We all are part of that process. You have an idea, you have a way to solve this, you need to submit a plan to the UCC. That's what you need to do. Bringing on a
That's not quite the
competitor,
process, Alex.
bringing on a competitor of Celsius and trying to
that's not-
convince people to switch over, trying to convince everybody that somehow the other house is better while everybody's
Alex,
suffering.
you know
not
as well as
a
us.
solution
You know
for
as well as
Celsius.
us that you know as well as us that both Sean and us have offered up solutions, and you know the process is
You
not to go to
submitted
the
to the
UCC.
UCC.
It's to go to the investment bank.
Did
That's
you
Celsius.
submit a plan to the UCC?
No, it's not to the UCC. It's to the investment bank that Celsius has engaged.
You need to submit a plan to the UCC, Simon. That's what you need to do.
Okay, well, that's not the process. The
No,
process
you
is the
created
investment
your
bank.
own process. You decided to create your own process. You were trying to take the Celsius community somewhere else. You're basically telling them, guys, come take new loans with
Alex, did
Salt
both
Landing.
Sean and I offer up all of our licenses at one stage to try and get this compliant?
This has nothing to do with any of that. Okay, this has to do with all the people on this call getting
Do you agree that the regulators are a big part of whether this actually gets out of Chapter 11?
The only thing you have to do, Simon, is submit a plan. Can you submit a plan? Instead of giving all the excuses,
and you know it doesn't go to the UCC. It has to go to your investment bank.
Instead of all the excuses, just submit a plan.
And you know what process and what I can and can't say and what documents had to be signed that is preventing me saying what's happening here.
Simon, come on. How many months did you spend in the data room at Celsius? Can you share it with everybody? Just tell everybody.
There's a document that made you that I had to sign that doesn't allow me to answer that question.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think you already
violated. The process is
you
the
already
investment
violated
bank
that document by
Celsius
disclosing
controls.
certain things on calls before. So I think you're already beyond that point. Okay. So anyway, look, I'm trying to be constructive here. Okay.
Okay. Let's do that, Alex.
We are trying to help the Celsius community. We're trying to return the coins to everybody as fast as possible. That's what we all should be focused on.
Okay, and should we be focused on getting this so that regulators allow this to come out?
You keep coming up with every excuse possible to talk about everything else besides what I just said.
You know that's the issue, Alex. You know that's the issue. You're just trying to avoid that.
Can I ask a question to Alex? It's an important question for everyone.
I think he's left.
It's a very simple.
Look, to be fair, sorry, Pansy. To be fair, I want to be fair. Alex literally just came up against all of his lawyers' advice because this meant so much to him to say what he, and it's very, very challenging for anybody to have to listen to this without you getting your say. Okay, so he dropped off not because he didn't want to, because Alex would, stand up to anybody. That's certainly something he would do, but he left because he had to. And so I just want to be fair, because we could say a bunch of stuff right now, and he is in a very difficult situation where he's not able to respond, which is very unfair, but it's the situation we're in. The regulatory issue is the issue. Any plan has to get signed off by regulators, and we are following the process, and the process that we were just told to follow is not the process.